In part 2, Jeremiah steps into his prophetic calling during Judah's spiritual decline. He warns the nation of idolatry, corruption, and the coming Babylonian threat, often through tears and laments. Though mocked as a prophet of doom, his sorrow reveals God's broken heart for his people. Let's continue his story. Imagine being the only voice in your entire city who speaks the truth. And instead of honor, you get humiliation. Instead of applause, you get beaten. Instead of a reward, you get prison time and a mud-soaked dungeon. That was Jeremiah's life. He wasn't celebrated. He wasn't admired. He wasn't in demand. But he was faithful. We're now in the late 7th century BC, on the edge of the 6th. The world was shifting. Babylon, led by King Nebuchadnezzar, was rising like a storm no one could stop. Smaller nations, Judah included, were faced with two choices: surrender and live, or resist and be crushed. And what was Jeremiah's message from God? Submit to Babylon. This is God's judgment. Don't fight it. To kings and generals, those words sounded like treason. To priests, they sounded like blasphemy. To the people, Jeremiah was nothing more than that depressing prophet who never has anything good to say. If Twitter existed, #CancelJeremiah would have been trending every single day. In Jeremiah 20, we see him beaten and locked in stocks by Pashur, the temple official. These weren't just restraints, they were a stage for mockery. He sat in public view, humiliated, while people spat, sneered, and shook their heads at him. But that wasn't the lowest point. Later, in Jeremiah 37-38, after repeating his warning, "If you resist Babylon, you'll die. If you surrender, you'll live," the officials had enough. They demanded Jeremiah's death. King Zedekiah, too weak to resist them, allowed it. So they threw the prophet into a cistern. Not a clean cistern of water, but a dry pit filled with mud. And there Jeremiah sank, alone, abandoned, and sinking into the cold darkness. But God never leaves his faithful ones without hope. Enter Ebed-Melech, an Ethiopian court official. A foreigner. An outsider. He pleaded for Jeremiah's life. With courage, old rags, and a rope, he pulled the prophet out of the pit. Think about that. When kings, priests, and fellow countrymen abandoned Jeremiah, it was a foreigner who rescued him. Isn't that just like God? To use the unexpected, the overlooked, the outsider to save his servant. At this point, you'd expect Jeremiah to quit. To say, "Lord, I've done enough. Every time I speak, I'm hated. The priests despise me. The leaders want me dead. My neighbors mock me. Even my prayers feel heavy. Surely you don't expect me to keep going?" But the answer was yes. Because Jeremiah wasn't called to win applause. He was called to obey. He chose obedience over popularity. Truth over comfort. Faithfulness over applause. If Jeremiah lived today, he wouldn't be the trending influencer. He wouldn't have the blue check mark or a viral podcast. He'd probably be banned on social media for negative content, unfriended by relatives, and shadow banned for speaking truth. But heaven would know his name. And that's what mattered. His story forces us to wrestle with the question: are we willing to obey God when it costs us everything? Because obedience to God often means standing alone. Your friends may not get it. Culture may mock you. Even family may push back. But the test remains: do we want applause or do we want truth? Jesus later confirmed the same reality. "Blessed are you when people insult you, persecute you, and falsely say all kinds of evil against you because of me." Matthew 5:11. Obedience isn't glamorous. It's not always safe. But it's worth it. And Jeremiah's warnings proved true. In 586 BC, Babylon invaded Jerusalem. The city burned. The temple was reduced to ashes. Thousands were dragged into exile. And suddenly the people who mocked Jeremiah realized, too late, that the prophet they despised had been right all along. Jeremiah's lonely road is a reminder that popularity fades, but obedience lasts forever. So here's the challenge. Don't measure your faithfulness by likes, shares, or applause. Don't water down truth to escape criticism. And when you feel like you're standing alone with God, remember 1 plus God is still a majority.